They said the season would end with answers, but instead, it gave us more questions. Betrayals we didn't see coming. Alliances we thought were unbreakable now hanging by a thread. And just when it seemed the Russell Empire was stronger than ever, one decision at the ball might have set the stage for its downfall. If you thought Season 3, Episode 8 tied up every loose end, think again, because what's coming in Season 4 might shatter the entire social order of New York's elite. The final episode of Season 3 was a whirlwind of emotion, tension, and power plays. Every storyline felt like it reached a breaking point, but none more shocking than George and Bertha Russell's marriage. Throughout the season, we've watched these two as an unstoppable force, conquering both the railroad industry and society's highest circles. But Episode 8 cracked that polished image wide open. George's simmering resentment over Bertha's choices with Gladys boiled over, and instead of confronting his own broken promises to his daughter, he redirected all that fury onto his wife. Bertha, as always, stood her ground, but for the first time, you could see real cracks forming in their partnership. Gladys's situation was equally complicated. Promised a love marriage, she instead found herself tied to a duke she barely knew. George may have thought he was securing her future, but in reality, he robbed her of the happiness she was already building with Hector. And yet, in a twist none of us expected, it's Hector who now seems determined to stand by Gladys, especially after the news that she's pregnant. This is where the writers have masterfully planted seeds for Season 4. Will this child bring the Russells back together, or drive them even further apart? Meanwhile, in one of the most satisfying moments of the episode, Peggy finally got the happiness she deserved. That scene on the staircase, her believing William was abandoning her, was heartbreaking. But the proposal at the ball was a powerful counterpoint. William didn't just ask her to marry him. He made a public statement that her past didn't define her, silencing the gossip that had been eating away at her reputation. It was a rare victory in a season filled with betrayals, and it's one that's going to ripple into Season 4, especially with William's mother still standing as a formidable obstacle. Larry and Marion's relationship, however, was far less neatly resolved. The trust between them has been eroded by half-truths, hasty judgments, and a shared unwillingness to face their issues head-on. They didn't break up, but they didn't reconcile either, leaving us with that frustrating, almost hopeful tension that the show thrives on. And given how much time Season 3 spent building their dynamic, it's hard to imagine Season 4 not making them a central emotional thread. Then there's the Van Ryn household, where social maneuvering reached new heights, or perhaps new lows. Ada's newfound position at the head of the table was an unexpected move, one that seemed designed to keep Agnes from feeling completely defeated. But with Oscar's plan for a lavender marriage with Mrs. Winterton in motion, the family is heading for another scandal. A union built on secrecy and convenience might protect reputations in the short term, but in the long run, it could be a ticking time bomb. Bertha's social war with Mrs. Astor also took an interesting turn. Mrs. Astor's appearance at the ball wasn't just a polite gesture, it was a signal. The old guard may be willing to bend, but they are far from broken. Bertha won a battle that night, but whether she's winning the war is still very much in question. And finally, there was one detail many viewers might have missed: George's attention to that bottle of liniment. For those unfamiliar, liniment was an opium-based tincture in the 1800s, notorious for its addictive properties. The camera lingered on it long enough to suggest it wasn't a throwaway prop. If this is the path the writers are setting for George, it could be the most dangerous threat yet to both his family and his empire. Episode 8 wasn't a conclusion. It was a carefully laid minefield, every storyline a fuse waiting to be lit. And when Season 4 arrives, the explosions could be devastating for friendships, marriages, and the entire social structure of New York high society. If the Season 4 trailer delivers even half of what Episode 8 hinted at, we're looking at the most explosive season of the Gilded Age yet. The fractures we saw in the finale aren't going to heal quietly. They're going to deepen, spread, and pull more people into the fallout. And the first trailer will almost certainly tease this unraveling without giving us the satisfaction of knowing who survives it intact. The biggest storyline to watch is George and Bertha Russell's marriage. Right now, They're standing on opposite sides of a fault line, one built from years of ambition, compromises, and unspoken resentment. In the trailer, don't be surprised if we see subtle but loaded moments between them. A cold glance at a society event, Bertha making a move without George's knowledge, or George turning to his business empire as a shield. And if the Linman bottle is truly foreshadowing addiction, the writers won't waste time showing its effects. The trailer might drop quick, unsettling flashes, a trembling hand, a late-night meeting clouded by smoke, or whispered rumors of George's declining control. Gladys's pregnancy could become the emotional centerpiece of the season. If the trailer includes her, it won't just be a happy scene of her with Hector. It'll be framed in uncertainty. Will her parents' estrangement overshadow the birth of their grandchild? Will the Duke reappear, staking some claim over her future? And in true Gilded Age fashion, will society embrace her or turn its back? The first look at Season 4 might give us just enough to worry without confirming anything. Then there's Peggy and William, the couple we all want to see win. But victory in this world comes with a cost. The trailer might hint at Elizabeth, William's mother, working quietly to sabotage the marriage before it even begins. A disapproving glance here, a cutting remark at a dinner table there. These are the kinds of moments that build tension without a single explosion. And if William uses his newfound wealth to move them to Newport, we might see a whole new set of social challenges waiting for Peggy. Larry and Marion are a different story. Their unresolved tension is the kind of slow-burn drama trailers love to exploit. Expect quick cuts, a chance meeting on the street, a dance at a ball where they can't stop looking at each other, or an argument that ends with one walking away. They're not done with each other, but whether that's good or bad is the question the trailer will leave dangling. Oscar and Mrs. Winter, meanwhile, are poised to be the season's sharp-tongued wild cards. A lavender marriage in the cutthroat social scene of New York is a powder keg, and every scene they share could be a spark. The trailer might give us a glimpse of them side by side, smiling for the crowd while trading barbed whispers behind closed doors. And let's not forget Bertha's ongoing rivalry, or uneasy alliance, with Mrs. Astor. Season 3 ended with what looked like a truce, but in this world, truces are just pauses in the fight. The trailer might drop a single line of dialogue from Mrs. Astor, something polite on the surface, but dripping with challenge, to remind us that this war is far from over. But the question hanging over everything is timing. With production gaps and long waits between seasons, we might not see Season 4 until late 2026 or even early 2027. The trailer will be our lifeline in that gap, giving us flashes of grandeur, heartbreak, and whispered secrets, enough to keep us theorizing for months. When that first teaser drops, watch the smallest details. The way characters look at each other, the objects the camera lingers on, the background faces in the grand ballroom scenes. The Gilded Age doesn't waste screen time. If it's there, it matters. And if Episode 8 taught us anything, it's that the most devastating blows in this world are struck quietly, in the spaces between the big moments. So, as we wait for that trailer, one thing is certain: Season 4 won't just continue the story. It will test loyalties, destroy reputations, and possibly rewrite the social hierarchy of New York's elite. The question isn't who will rise, it's who will survive.